What's up, guys? Brand Second Fantasy today, and today we're going to be talking about Gynecomastia. And I haven't done this video on here, so I mean, why not? I've been learning some new stuff about it, and brother, yeah, he used to talk about this all the time. Whatever. So, even eating healthy food, I make sure that you have a balanced amount of micronutrients, microminerals, vitamins. And if you don't, you're going to be overweight. You're going to be obese because what you're intaking it's way too much for your body. And even if the same thing goes for anybody could be obese, so they could just eat too much, and the body wouldn't be used to it. And again, if you're forcing your metabolism, like if you have a low metabolism and you're just pounding down the carbohydrates in there, again, your metabolism, your basal metabolic rate is carbohydrate sensitive. And when it's carbohydrate sensitive, when you're really forcing it to increase, it can't gradually, it can't increase really fast. It can gradually increase. But if you're just forcing, the calories are usually empty calories, and you're forcing your body to be in a hypercaloric state. It doesn't have the nutrition from the calories, the bargain foods, for your metabolism, for your basal metabolic rate to really grow. And when you keep forcing your metabolism to increase, the thing that happens is if you stunt your metabolism, and that's a really bad thing, because your metabolism cannot grow therefore and gradually increase. So you can intake a lot of calories, you can burn it off, and you can also burn fat with the calories. You can burn calories and burn fat. As I mentioned in my BMR video, my basal metabolic rate video, like I didn't get this. I used to, yes, I was gaining a lot of weight. I used to be overweight because I was eating so many carbohydrates. I was eating so many calories that my metabolism couldn't catch up to it. I was forcing my basal metabolic rate, my metabolism, to grow, but you cannot force it to grow. You cannot be on Schwarzenegger in a night. You cannot have a high metabolism in a night. But usually people that have low metabolisms, they're carbohydrate sensitive, and they're eating so many empty calories. They're digesting so many calories. They're trying to get the body into a hypercaloric state. But your metabolism cannot grow unless you have nourishment, unless you have bargain foods that are high in nutritional value. Because like all things, when we look at catabolism, making sure that you get the nutrients, macronutrients, micronutrients, macrominerals, make sure that you're getting the vitamins down through the esophagus, to the gastrointestinal tract, to the catabolic breakdown, where the food, the nutrients release energy. Catabolic breakdown gets ready for the anabolic breakdown, make sure the food is processed. So your metabolism, your basal metabolic rate, can require the energy. And anabolism, when we think about anabolism, it's requiring the energy that is broken down from the food. So when the food is broken down, it releases energy, and then it requires energy and anabolism and biosynthesis. It's really major for muscle fiber expansion, for metabolic creation, to make sure that the basal metabolic rate, it's getting high, it's increasing, and because of it's increasing the amount of metabolites that are able to form. It's making more metabolites, and this really affects muscle fiber expansion. As I talk about simple to complex muscle fiber, as long as catabolism is in use, and I talk about this all on my channel. Catabolism, anabolism, biosynthesis, they're all major. In catabolism, releasing the energy from food to require the energy to your metabolism, your muscle fibers, to your blood vessels, to your metabolites. It's major, and especially for hypertrophy. I mentioned this many times, or whatever. And this video, I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but just stay with me, guys, and we'll see how far this video can go. But as I was talking about, it's major for the food to release energy. And if you're not getting any nutritional food, you're not getting any nutrition at all, there's not going to be energy. There's not going to be enough energy. There's not going to be that energy that can actually increase your basal metabolic rate, can increase the metabolic creation, the formation of metabolites. And this really affects it aiding in the growth, development, and reproduction of muscle fibers, simple to complex. As long as you have that nutrition, the foods are releasing energy, and then anabolism can require the energy, your basal metabolic rate can require the energy, your metabolites can require the energy to be formed and to aid in the growth, reproduction, and development of muscle fibers, simple to complex. so that they have more of a capacity to grow and not a low capacity to grow. And this really affects hypertrophy, gaining hypertrophy, as we talk about the development, the reproduction, the growth of muscle fibers. Is that muscle fibers are all throughout muscle. So if we get more, if we get more complex muscle fibers that have more capacity to grow, we're going to witness more hypertrophy, more muscle gain, more muscle mass, more hypertrophy as they talk about it. And it really affects muscle fibers. It not only affects that, but your muscle fibers, they need energy to be simple to complex, going along the whole process of biosynthesis. As long as you're releasing energy, the foods are releasing energy, you're requiring energy for your metabolites, for your muscle fibers, for your blood vessels, for your metabolism, for all these things in anabolism, and including blood vessels. And if you never, if the food, and if it doesn't have nutritional value, it's not going to release the energy. And guess what? It's really going to affect muscle fiber expansion if you actually gain in hypertrophy, and if muscle fibers actually grow, but not even that, because they require energy to grow. Your basal metabolic rate requires energy to grow. Your metabolites, they require energy to form to aid in the growth, reproduction, and development of muscle fibers from simple to complex. It also affects the blood vessels. If the blood vessels, again, can carry the oxygen and supply it to the muscles, they need energy to carry that oxygen and supply it to the muscles, again, to get to the state of occlusion. As you talk about occlusion, just making sure that, talking in terms of working out, make sure that there's no blood circulation. But this is going to lead into DOMS, and DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness. It's going to force your muscles to grow, and along with good nourishment, your muscles are going to grow. You're going to witness hypertrophy. You're going to witness vascularity beyond belief. You're going to decrease fat, decrease body composition, maintain your body mass index, increase your metabolism, increase your muscle tone, decrease your fat, as I just said, increase your metabolism, your basal metabolic rate. And it really affects all these things. Is that if you're getting the nutrients, if you're getting the requirements that your body needs in food, if the foods are releasing energy, require the energy for growth, the growth of metabolites, formation of metabolites, to aid in the growth, reproduction, and development of muscle fibers, simple from complex, as long as it has that nourishment. And again, if it doesn't stop there. Muscle fibers, they affect the blood vessels. If the blood vessels have enough energy, when the food, it breaks down energy. If it never breaks down energy, and again, it's not high in nutritional value, it's just high in empty calories, it's going to be affecting your risk of many other diseases. And you're not going to have enough, you're not going to have the energy for metabolic formation, metabolic creation, to aid in the growth, reproduction, and development of muscle fibers. So you're not going to be expanding that muscular structure. You're not going to be supplying it with what it needs, along with occlusion, along with the oxygen, that the blood vessels supply oxygen to the muscle tissue to increase the muscle tissue, along with the nourishment. As I talk about, is that it's really major. Occlusion is major, and then biosynthesis is major, anabolism is major, catabolism is major for muscle growth. Because occlusion, we're talking about that the blood vessels need to supply oxygen to the muscles, and if they do not, your muscles, they need nourishment. They need muscle fibers. They have all these requirements. They need the nourishment that you're not giving your muscles. They need it to grow. And if you don't have it, if you don't have enough energy, that they're not even going to grow in the first place. As I talk about on the channel, as I talk about catabolism, I talk about anabolism, as I talk about biosynthesis, is that it's really major occlusion, making sure that to press DOMS, delayed onset muscle soreness, to really grow, for muscle growth to happen, for muscle fiber expansion to happen from simple to complex, to again affect the muscular growth of the muscle structure that we're talking about, whether we're talking about the brachiolus, whether we're talking about the supraspinatus, the shoulder, we're talking about the biceps, whether we're talking about anything, we're talking about the sternocleidomastoid, whether we're talking about the lateral ligament, whether we're talking about the collateral medial ligament and the neonat, whether we're talking about all this stuff. It could be talking about any anatomy of the body, and that you can find on my website. I'm just gonna say right now, you can find my website. Go on my website right now. You can find all this stuff. And shit, what was I talking about in this video? Oh, yeah, I was gonna talk about gynecomastia. I was getting into all this stuff or whatever. But yeah, it's really major to have nourishment, to have the energy, and to have the blood vessels giving oxygen to the muscles for muscular growth, muscle fiber expansion. It's crucial to all this. Metabolites being made. It's energy. Having energy. It's crucial for muscle fiber expansion. It's crucial for metabolic creation. So you can increase your metabolism to the point you can take in a hypercaloric intake. You can have a hypercaloric intake where you can intake a lot of calories, high nutritional value, high in bargain foods, and that it can increase your metabolism to the point that you're not going to be obese because you're forcing your metabolism to grow, and because you have a low metabolism, you're forcing it to grow. You're taking all these carbohydrates, you're taking all these calories, empty calories, that your body, since, I'll explain it right now, and like I explained in my BMR video, because your metabolism, it cannot be a high metabolism. You not have a metabolism that is as fast, that can burn off calories as fast. And what you're doing is that you're increasing the amount of carbohydrates that you intake. You're increasing your caloric intake without nutritional value, with usually empty calories, comparing that to a person who is carbohydrate low, increasing your carbohydrate intake while decreasing exercising. Of course, they're going to be burning off the calories, but because, again, you're not burning off calories, it's going to make you gain in fat. It's going to make you obese, and having a low metabolism. Your low metabolism, it cannot function as a growing metabolism, gradually increasing metabolism that can have a intake that, again, is nutritional, has a lot of nutrition on its side. And as I said, even talking about myself, going back, relating to myself, is that I was trying to force my metabolism, but because of this, my metabolism was already low. I was just adding to the body composition that my body already had. I was adding to the amount of fat that I had, visceral fat, preventing really vascularity from showing, preventing muscle tone from even showing, muscle growth from showing, from the blood vessels supplying oxygen to the muscles to actually make them grow in hypertrophy, and not to be just making sure that blood circulation is there, to make sure that your muscles can actually function, still, that they can be functional, or whatever. And this video is 12 minutes so far, 12 minutes and 48 seconds, and we're gonna keep going on this video. Oh, we were talking about gynecomastia, but again, I mentioned in my BMR video. Go on that video right now. You can't force your metabolism to grow overnight. You can't be honest with saying, no, it's not physically possible. You have to gradually increase your metabolism. Again, you have to have the energy. You have to have the metabolites being made in your metabolism. You have to have the nutritional food. You have to have the nutrition there. Nourishment for everything. It affects everything. Muscle tone, vascularity. It affects hypertrophy. It affects your basal metabolic rate, whether it grows or not. Your muscle fibers expansion. It affects all this. Having energy, and make sure that you're getting all the food that releases energy. If it never releases energy, then guess what? Your metabolism is not going to grow. You're still going to be obese, because you're forcing your metabolism to grow without supplying that nutrition that your metabolism needs, and getting into that hypercaloric state where your metabolism, it can function at a high level. It can be compared to a person's metabolism that they have a high basal metabolic rate that can take in all these calories. They can have a high intake of calories, but calories are high in nutritional value, that are bargain foods, that you want to get all these bargain foods in, and get rid of the empty calories. That's going to just be increasing your risk for other diseases. And as I said again in my BMR video, the reason why fat people, they gain weight, is because their metabolism, they cannot burn off the calories. And speaking of, it's just burning off the calories that leads to an increase in fat. When you can't burn off calories, you're going to be increasing in body composition, visceral fat, body fat, water fat. You're going to be increasing in all of that. When your body, it cannot catch up, it cannot be fast. Your metabolism cannot be fast. You can't force it to be fast. If you have a low metabolism, you're usually going to be obese because you're forcing your metabolism to grow, but you're not supplying the nutrition that it needs. You're not gradually increasing it. You can't force something to grow because you're just stunting the growth of it. And when you're stunting the growth, you're still going to be obese. You're not going to lose any weight. You're still going to be obese, overweight. You're not going to lose any of that weight that you do not need. You're not going to be, because as I talk about in my BMR video, it's crucial. It's crucial to gradually increase your basal metabolic rate. It's crucial for your foods to release energy in the catabolic breakdown. Anabolism, speaking of that, for the metabolites to require the energy, and for your muscle fibers to require the energy from be simple to complex blood vessels to supply the oxygen to the muscles for hypertrophy. And just talking about metabolic creation, metabolic formation is increasing. If you have a lot of metabolites that are going to be made, the offspring of metabolites, the offspring of your metabolic rate, metabolites, as I talked about. And if you have a lot of metabolites that are being made, you're going to grow your metabolism. You're going to increase your metabolism gradually by supplying the nutrition that it needs. Supplying the intake that it needs, the nutrition that it needs, again, and making it to the point where it can gradually increase, not overnight. I'm talking about weeks. I'm talking about months, not overnight. It's over months that you're increasing your metabolism, so you can have a high basal metabolic rate that can burn off the calories, that can be faster, so your body, and this is many obese people as they try to work out, and they don't realize this, but because they have a low metabolism, that it's going to take a long time for them to burn off the calories, empty calories. And guess what? Because they have a low metabolism, they're going to be gaining even more fat. They're forcing the metabolism to grow when simply they do not have the nutrition. They do not have the requirements that body needs. They don't have the metabolites being made, the energy. They don't have all that to get the metabolism to a high basal metabolic rate to make sure that they can burn off the calories instead of increasing the fat. And many obese people, I know it's because I went through it, their experience is when they're usually carbohydrate sensitive, they're having all these carbohydrates. And the thing about this is that their metabolism is that when you have a low metabolism, is that it can't burn off these carbohydrates. And when it can't burn off the carbohydrates, it can't burn off all of these non-regenerative nutrients. It can't burn off all of that calories and fats. Even at that, when it can't, you're going to gain in fat. You're going to gain in weight. You're going to be obese, have a low metabolism, not a high metabolism. You're going to have a low metabolism. Then it's going to take a long time for you to even burn off 50 calories. It's going to take a long freaking time. About even 30 minutes. That's extreme because we can burn off about. Now I was going through this one day. I was working out the one day, and I was seeing how many calories I was burning out, and it's really crucial for our metabolisms, for them to function out throughout the day, as long as we supplying the nutrition that our body needs for it to grow, for our body to be nourished, and that we burn off calories. And unlike people with high metabolisms, they burn off calories throughout the whole entire day without doing anything because their basal metabolic rate is gradually increasing with the food they intake, with they're getting into the hypercaloric state. They're increasing their metabolism, they're increasing their intake, and this leads to a gradually increasing metabolism to make it so that it can intake all these carbohydrates. It can intake all these, not just that, it can intake all these broken foods that are high in micronutrients, vitamins, minerals, fats, carbohydrates, to make sure that they can burn off, so that they're not just saving their metabolism, so they can just keep the same amount of muscle tone, vascularity, the same amount of metabolism they have, the same amount of hypertrophy they have, muscle tone that they have, so they can basically just save themselves from gaining in weight. They can just save themselves, but they're not going to grow. They're going to stunt their growth of muscle tone. It's not going to increase your muscle tone because, again, you're stunting the growth of your body composition, of how much fat you can have. You're going to keep the same amount of fat. You're going to keep the same amount of hypertrophy, same amount of muscular growth. You're going to keep the same amount of muscle tone, vascularity. You're going to keep your same basal metabolic rate, and it's not going to be really increasing from that point on, stunting the growth of all these things in your body. And shit, what should this video be called? I gotta get through this video. But anyways, as I was talking about my BMR video, the thing that I was talking about was that It's really crucial to gradually increase your metabolism. You're not forcing it to grow. If you force it to grow, you're just gonna stunt it. It's not gonna grow from that point on, and you're going to have a low metabolism. Low metabolism that's taking in all of these carbohydrates, taking all these calories, empty calories that have no nutritional value at all. And the thing about this is that you're going to be gaining even more fat, visceral fat, and that's really going to prevent muscle tone. It's really going to prevent vascularity, growth, even beyond that. The energy that you have, how much energy in food, releasing energy, requiring energy for your metabolites to be made, and metabolic limitation. When you eliminate the metabolites, and this really affects the growth, reduction, development of your muscle fibers from complex, going into the subject of biosynthesis, just from catabolism, anabolism to biosynthesis. And anyways, in this video, it's about 20 minutes I've spent talking about nothing but the metabolism and catabolism, anabolism, biosynthesis. So I want to talk about gynecomastia that many people don't know about. And what is this? This is when you have too much estrogen, and because of too much estrogen and too many antioxidants, too many isoflavones, because you have too many isoflavones, that foods that are high in antioxidants, that are high in estrogen, is going to make it so that you have man boobs, as you would talk about. Many people don't talk about this, but why not? I'm out here right now, so why don't I talk about this? I was struggling with making videos for about a couple of days, so let's get into this right here. So many people that are saying that soy, again, it's highly concentrated, again, in along with carbohydrates. Why this makes you, because your metabolism is not at the point where it can burn these carbohydrates, these calories, these empty calories. And when you're supplying your body with empty calories, your body is not going to be at the state where it can develop, where it can gradually increase with the nutritional value that it needs, with the intake that's high nutritional value that it needs to grow for metabolic creation, metabolic formation. I was just thinking, what I would really... Okay, this video is going to be about 30 minutes. I'm sure that nobody's going to freaking watch this video because it's going to be like 30 minutes or whatever. So as we're talking about this, we're talking about antioxidants. Well, what are antioxidants? A substance such as vitamin A or C that protects the body's cells and tissues from the damaging effects of oxidation. That's a definition of antioxidants. They can be vitamin A, they can be vitamin C, again, high in fruits. And not even that, but high in so many other foods. And when we look at nutrition, it's because you get misunderstood. You say that gynecomastia but that's when estrogen levels are way too high. So we're talking about the levels of a female is going to be as high as that. We're talking about a level that's very high. But guess what? I eat antioxidants. I eat foods that are high in estrogen, a good source of estrogen, and antioxidants on a daily basis. I don't have man boobs. I have actually good pecs. So I wouldn't say. I mean, I'm just going to declassify this. It's very funny to come across this on the internet. To hear my brother talking about it. It's about 2 years ago when we used to try protein powder. But that's high concentrated soy protein. But soy protein is actually high in fiber and can even maintain your cholesterol levels and natural cholesterol and not getting the unneeded cholesterol that it needs. So soy, sesame seeds, we're talking about tofu, we're talking about all this stuff, we're talking about flax seeds, which are high in estrogen. It's not really bad, but to a point it becomes bad. But really, it's what our body needs for us to lower our cholesterol, to maintain cholesterol. So it's really affecting our liver, affecting our chances of premature death that you don't know of. But premature death, again, is that you're going to be more highly to develop bad liver function because all this unneeded cholesterol, it's pounding on the liver. All this caffeine, all these carbohydrates are pounding on the liver. When it keeps pounding on the liver, when it pounds on the heart, the blood vessels, they cannot circulate. They cannot provide the oxygen needed for circulation of the muscles. When the heart cannot regulate the blood vessels, when the liver cannot regulate the cholesterol, you bring in all this unneeded cholesterol, they're going to fail. It's going to lead in cardiovascular deaths, strokes, heart attacks. It's going to lead into narrowed arteries. Narrowed arteries is when, again, you have all this unnatural cholesterol and narrowed arteries. They're not going to be flowing correctly to deliver this natural cholesterol. So they're going to be delivering this unnatural cholesterol. And when we talk about what is LDL, what is cholesterol? What is cholesterol, man? I do not know what cholesterol is. I do not know what cholesterol is. A blood plasma lipoprotein that is high in LDL, bad cholesterol. That's the definition of LDL. That carries cholesterol to your body's cells and tissues. And this is really bad because we want the blood vessels to be carried, the oxygen. We want the oxygen to be carried to the blood vessels, to the body's cells and tissues. And when we don't have this, the cholesterol is taking this place and it's being carried to there, and it's going to break down. It's going to break down. It's going to destroy the cells, the muscle, because it's not something you need. It's going to make you to where you have high cholesterol, you have LDL, you have bad cholesterol, you have a cholesterol that you really cannot control, and it's really bad from this point on because, again, you have all this unnatural cholesterol, and then your liver, it cannot regulate. You're having so much unnatural cholesterol with natural cholesterol, and when you have this, your liver is like, yo, what's going on? What am I supposed to do right now? And it's really confused at this point. And when it's confused like this, it's not gonna know what to do. It's gonna die out. You're gonna have bad liver function, liver cancer, even at that. And again, affecting all the vital organs in our body. What we eat, the nutrition that we apply to our daily lives, daily meal plans, it's going to be affecting the state that which we're at. It's going to be affecting our health that I talk about all the time on this channel. All the time on this channel I talk about this. And again, just talking about that, it's really major to prevent LDL from happening, for the cholesterol to be carried to the body's cells and tissue, because it breaks down it, because we need blood vessels to supply oxygen being regulated by our heart, cardiovascular, make sure that our cardiovascular state is again really healthy, prevent the breakdown of it, to increase actually the growth of muscle tissue, growth of our cells, to make sure that we don't break down the cells so that they're basically dying out, the muscle tissue are dying out to the state where we become obese, we become overweight. It's been a long video, but declassifying the myth of gynecomastia. It's something very funny that I go across on the internet. I don't see many people making a video about this, so I hope that this video gets a good amount of views, 27 minutes. This is going to be the longest video I've ever made on this channel. It's really funny making a video that's 27 minutes and 52 seconds, 54 seconds, 55 seconds, 56 seconds, or whatever. But yeah, anything to a point, it becomes unhealthy. Sugar to a point becomes unhealthy when your blood glucose low. When the amount of insulin is a hormone produced, created by your pancreas. And again, when we think about insulin sensitivity, when we think about insulin resistance, is when the hormone insulin and glucagon cannot regulate a blood glucose level, leading to a high blood glucose, leading to a low blood glucose known as low blood sugar, high blood sugar, and leading to diabetes, and all of that stuff that I talk about on this channel. And again, it's really bad, and to make sure that insulin is making sure that all these things in your body, that they have regulations, that insulin, glucagon are regulating these things, that your heart is regulating blood vessels, that your liver is regulating cholesterol, the amount of cholesterol that is intake, that is from your body, that's in your body, and just controlling all these things leads to just affecting your chances of your risks of many diseases that we know, like cardiovascular disease, strokes, heart attacks, LDL, bad cholesterol, narrowed arteries. When we talk about all these things, we talk about diabetes, we talk about premature death, dying at any stage, premature death. It's not given. The time's not given. But once you're doing this, you're killing your heart. And most importantly, my head. God. Anyways, your heart and liver, you're killing both of them, is going to be affecting chances of premature death. Diabetes are coming to play with low blood sugar too. Blood sugar, when the amount of insulin, it's not being produced correctly, and when it's not being produced correctly, it cannot regulate. When glucagon is not being produced correctly, it's not going to regulate blood glucose level, leading to low to high blood sugar. When we talk about even at that, and I just wanted to preach in this video as long as I could. 30 minutes, guys, a 30-minute video that I'm putting on YouTube, and this is gonna be crazy, but I'm actually doing it. The next video would be about fat classification. This video I just really want to talk about gynecomastia, isoflavins. I want to talk about also food who's high in antioxidants, food high in estrogen. They're crucial for our main living, our main being in life. So if we really cut off the supply of these, is that, guess what? Our nourishment is going to be so bad. We're not going to have the antioxidants that we need. And dried fruits. And guess what? Guess what? You're saying that you're going to get gynecomastia? Look at broccoli. Look at walnuts. Look at sesame seeds. Look at flax seeds. Look at nuts. Look at pecans. Look at dried fruits. Look at all these things. And guess what? They have a high source of antioxidants and estrogen. So you're basically saying that if you're eating dried fruits, nuts, that if you're eating vegetables, fruits, that you're going to have a high chance of gynecomastia. But that's something major for a body to have. Anyways, what's up, guys? Brian Second Fitness here today, and today we're out. Looking good, ladies.